Hello and welcome to Belfast High School History on YouTube. This little video is going to look at what was the Marshall Plan. So the Marshall Plan was set up in 1947 and was a key part of post-war European recovery, and it was also a major step in the early Cold War. In 1947, the economic situation in Western Europe was dire. The devastation from the Second World War continued to plague the continent, and that was clear in East as well as West. This was leading to political problems, so many people, desperate to overcome poverty and hunger, started to turn to the communist parties, and they started to vote for them in increasing numbers in countries like Italy and France. And there's a danger that through democracy, communist parties would be voted into government. So this situation deeply worried the United States. They're really worried about the global spread of communism, and President Truman set about appointing the world-famous General George Marshall to try to find solutions to this problem. So what they immediately did was actually provide financial aid to Greece and Turkey. These were the most immediate elements that needed their support, and $400 million was poured into these countries. That money was used to stabilise Greece and to defeat the communist threat there once and for all. It also allowed the United States to place missiles in Turkey, and Turkey is very, very close to the borders of the USSR. What was the Marshall Plan itself? Well, it was the investment of $13 billion of United States aid into 16 specific Western European countries. And the recipients of this aid would have to do two things. They'd have to spend it in United States goods, and they'd have to open up their accounts to US scrutiny. In order to make the aid not appear politically motivated, it was actually offered to Eastern European countries as well. But the United States knew, of course, that Stalin would not allow that. So was it a success? Well, it was a huge success. Marshall Aid was described by the British Foreign Minister as a lifeline to sinking men. The economies of Western Europe actually recovered so rapidly that by 1952 they'd actually reached their pre-war levels. Quite an extraordinary feat after the Second World War. It also helped the genesis of the EEC, what's now the European Union, as countries like West Germany and France and Netherlands all started to cooperate for economic benefits. The threat of communism actually reduced as well as living standards rose, and it actually creates a very strong bond between Western Europe and the United States, which is a very powerful propaganda tool in the Cold War. Stalin, however, was absolutely furious. He called this no more than dollar imperialism, a way of buying power through just like spending money. He was particularly angry and suspicious of the United States giving $1.4 billion to West Germany, to the old enemy West Germany, a country that the USSR was determined to try to make sure it was weakened. The other Soviet response was in the organisations they set up in response. So obviously they forbade Marshall Aid from going to East European countries, but they also formed their own society called Comecon, which is the Soviet equivalent. It's aimed to offer mutual economic assistance to East European economies, and they have their own Molotov plan. And this had little success, due to the USSR having very limited resources. It didn't have the same resources as the USA to pour into Eastern Europe. It also set up Cominform, that's the Communist Information Bureau, and that's set up to try to tighten Soviet control across its sphere of influence and to try to build a trading network in the East. The Marshall Plan, huge economic success for the USA and particularly for Western Europe. However, it does come at a global cost because relations between East and West plummet, and it becomes distinctly colder following this Marshall Plan. And you can see Truman here saying the Marshall Plan will go down in history as one of America's greatest contributions to the peace of the world. Thank you for watching.